Oh, hello everyone. Gayatri here today. I'm sharing this card with you using Says Stamp Heart Mandala die and Mum Flowers stamp set, both of which were released in the month of April from the Fluttering release. For the background, I wanted to play with alcohol inks. So I started with the Pink Sherbet, Purple Twilight and Watermelon alcohol inks on YUPO paper. As you can see, I do not use any gloves or take precautions. I just open the window and let the alcohol fumes out. So it's just a nice ventilated area where I play with when I play with alcohol inks. And I'm not fussed with alcohol inks on my fingers. I keep it as tidy as I can. But if it gets onto my fingers and hands, I just use alcohol wipes to wipe them away. I just don't like working with wearing gloves and working with, I just don't like working with gloves on my hands. You know what I mean? And I just don't get I don't like the texture of the gloves on my hand. Anyway, as you can see, I love playing with alcohol inks. This is one technique I truly enjoy because I do not have control over what I do, but the results are absolutely beautiful. It's organic and it is absolutely beautiful. I saved this purpley pinkish red background for another card, but for today's card I used this citrusy one. The alcohol inks I used to make this background are Limeade, Citrus and Sunshine Yellow. On this panel I showed some restraint and did not add too many layers of alcohol inks. I just had to step away from it and let it dry. I left the panel to dry for a minute and a half or even 2 depending on the season, while for me here it's autumn, so it takes a little bit longer to dry compared to summer when I played with alcohol inks in summer. You leave it to dry to about a minute and a half or 2, that it's not bone dry, but there are places where it is still tacky. So when you place your gold foil paper on top and rub it, the foil actually sticks to those tacky areas, and that makes these alcohol ink even more beautiful because of the random gold foil veins on the alcohol ink background. I have used gold holographic foil paper here from Deco foil. You could use whatever foil you have in your hand or whatever color foil you prefer. Next up, I used the Heart Mandala background die to die cut using Simon's black cardstock. I have used Gemini Junior to die cut this panel, and this machine die cuts such detailed die so beautifully well. It's such a good investment, I should say. You can see me playing with the positioning of the die. I wanted the gold foil to show up on the empty spaces, so I just keep moving the die cut on the panel to get the right positioning before I trim the panel to 4 1/4 and 5.5 inches. I used Simon's tacky glue to adhere the die cut. Well, if I was to do it again, I'd probably use stick-it adhesive on the back of the black cardstock before I die cut the cardstock using the Heart Mandala die, because it makes life easier rather than using the glue on those little tiny delicate places to glue the die cut on the alcohol ink background. Initially I wanted the entire card front to be covered with the die cut alcohol ink panel, but then I decided it's just too much black going on there, so I trimmed out the border So the trimmed panel is now 4 inches to 5¼ inches. I adhered this panel onto a white card base using Scotch foam adhesive to get dimension. For the sentiment, I used Mom Flowers stamp set, which is also part of the Fluttering buy release, which was released in April, that's last month. And I love this sentiment called "You Are Precious to Me." I am going to white heat emboss this sentiment onto a strip of black cardstock, and never ever forget to use powder tool on the black cardstock, especially on the black cardstock if you're going to white heat emboss. So here I have white heat embossed the sentiment off the camera and trimming the panel down to fit the card front. I am wiping off the powder of the sentiment strip and playing around with the positioning of the sentiment strip on the card front. And I prefer it on the bottom right because I don't want to cover the beautiful delicate mandala die cut. I use the foam adhesive on the back of the sentiment strip to adhere on the card front. This gives me a little bit more dimension on the sentiment strip, and I have to use a T-square ruler to get all my sentiments straight. This is because of my astigmatism, and the T-square ruler is my savior. To finish off my card, I've used some pretty pink Posh sequins here. These are Peridot Mist and Sunshine Glow, and I have used both 6mm and 4mm sizes, which I glued them down using a glossy accent. That finishes off my card for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. My blog post on my blog has more close-up photos of this particular card, as well as there is another similar card as well. So please visit my blog post. All the supplies I used to make this particular card are linked below in the description box. Here are some of the close-up photos of this particular card for you to enjoy. Thanks so much for stopping by today. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.